From Tim Burton to Wes Anderson, Ari Aster to Terry Gilliam, David Cronenberg to Robert Eggers, and so many in between, a lot of directors and storytellers can be weird, but none own the term as much as Yorgos Lanthimos. My name is Ren, I'm at the Venice Film Festival 2023, and this is my review of Poor Things. Welcome back, movie fans. Thank you for continuing to join my coverage of the Venice Film Festival 2023 to discuss one of the hottest tickets in the festival, a film that is part Disney fairy tale, part monster movie, part coming-of-age existential crisis. Let's just get into it. After being brought back to life by a brilliant but unorthodox scientist, Bella Baxter lives sheltered from the world, but is eager to learn and hungers for the worldliness she is lacking, eventually running off with a slick and debauched lawyer on a whirlwind adventure across the continents. And as a frame of reference, while I'm not in love with the first two Yorgos Lanthimos films in The Lobster and Killing of a Sacred Deer, I love The Favorite. So I wasn't too sure what to think or how to be excited for Poor Things. And I can tell you, this is my gem of kooky, unshackled weirdness. But it is a very tricky film to describe. The best way to summarize Poor Things is to tell you, in every way, Poor Things is a Disney princess fairy tale, but the princess comes from the island of Dr. Moreau. And I love how Yorgos Lanthimos just drops us straight into the middle of this weirdness, this fully fleshed out world with this scientist, his creations, and his mansion that feel part of an absolutely lived-in, steampunky 1700s London, and you are just immersed into it all. There's no easing the audience into what this is, and I will always admire a filmmaker so unbridled in their creativity and imagination and the ways they can convey these kooky, weird narratives, especially one that these days is being backed by a major studio in Searchlight Pictures. For all the weird you are expecting from Lanthimos, he offers unexpected wonder as well. He doesn't see this world as ugly and twisted, but rather as something beautiful, something creative, something that gives these misfits, these outsiders, a place to belong in, to feel whole in, to feel loved. And that caught me completely off guard and only began to show the true wholesomeness of this story. There's something beautiful about seeing a story of quote-unquote monsters and how Lanthimos is not concerned with a story of how they don't belong, but rather, even if they are outside of normalcy, even if they can't go outside, have the same liberties as everyone else, there is a place they can call home. And he establishes that from the beginning. And so he manages to offer these kooky elements to the film. Aesthetically speaking, on the surface, it is very out there. But at its core, it's a movie, sucks to say because the Fast and Furious ruined it, but it is a film about family and the genuine love this family has for all its weird members. This feels like the most unrestrained Lanthimos has ever been in his creativity and imagination, as if we're being thrown directly into the inside of his mind, seeing all his inspiration, all his most mad ideas being brought to life. And while at first that sounds like a bad idea on paper, what truly holds it all together is, first and foremost, the surprising amount of heart and earnest emotionality he injects into his story and his characters. Not only that, he builds this fantastic world inspired by steampunk stories, and it all feels fleshed out. It all feels lived in. And what helps in that is that this is a globe-trotting adventure from London to Lisbon, Portugal, to Greece, to Paris, which not only delivers a wide variety of different set pieces, all captured with gorgeous cinematography, an entire spectrum of vibrant colors through different cities and cultures. But because of that, it fleshes out the world even more because you're not just secluded to one town as Bella is in the beginning of the film. You get to see more of the world and see how it uses the inspirations of Lanthimos and the steampunk culture to it all, and how different cultures, different countries, different societies put that into use. More to that point, aesthetically, Poor Things is absolutely sublime. I love all the different sorts of lenses Lanthimos uses to capture not only the POV of certain characters, but the mood of certain scenes, the color temperature of each city throughout Europe, where Lisbon is warm and bright and welcoming, and the more we travel to where certain characters want to go, the dimmer the lights get, the colder the colors fade. He also uses a lot of fisheye lenses, which most of the time absolutely puts me off, but it's the way he integrates that as a crucial part of the film, as an essential POV that really works. He's just really creative with all the sorts of ways that he captures moments and moods in characters. And speaking of characters, everyone does a fantastic job. From Ramy Youssef, Willem Dafoe, Christopher Abbott, who I didn't know was even in this movie, Mark Ruffalo as this silver-tongued, devilishly pathetic lawyer that gets Bella to go on this wild adventure where he from the beginning admits he only wants to trick her, only wants to have fun, and it's such a different role for him. Even though the British accent is not all that good, to me it worked in favor of making this character feel despicable and slimy and completely unlikable, and he brings out something new that I haven't seen from him. Emma Stone, however, she is an absolute force. This is a fearless performance that she 1,000% commits to. Once you see what she has to do, what she has to give to this role, there's just no other way you can play this role if not dive head in to what is on the script. And she wows from beginning to end. She continuously impresses, and she just nails the specific comedic timing of this film. We all know all of these actors can be funny. We all know Yorgos Lanthimos has a very specific, very distinguished sense of humor. This film has it all. It brings the laughs, but it's very dark. It's very quirky humor. All these characters are quirky. This entire world is quirky. The visuals are quirky. The humor is perhaps the quirkiest of them all. So unexpected, macabre at points, but really black, dark, comedy in what is in essence a very bleak story about someone coming of age and wanting to belong, searching for their identity, which on the surface we have seen that a ton of times. We have seen it in monster movies, we have seen it in Disney princess movies, but it's the way Lanthimos captures through this perverse point of view where we're talking about monsters, misfits who live hidden away from a society in the 1700s, and yet she wants to be a part of it all. She wants to experiment at all. Bella is absolutely fearless in trying something to find herself, to find what makes her happy. And she is so unbelievably immature, but charmingly naive through it all. You cannot help but fall in love with her. It's the type of character that makes it effortlessly easy to root for them and follow them along this compelling journey of self-discovery and self-liberation. And it's that young, girlish charm of Emma Stone that could bring that genuine innocence to this role that she just absolutely nails it. I will say, for a film that runs at 2 hours and 20 minutes long, there is one section near the end that I just feel drags a little bit too long and feels essentially pointless by the end. The final scene of the film comes along. When it comes to the arcs, they all feel fulfilling, they all feel earnest, and they don't fantasize their way around it. There are harsh answers in this film that contrast its beautiful wholesomeness. And while I was dazzled by the visuals and intrigued by the limitless creativity of Lanthimos, it's the compelling heart at the core of this narrative, where he takes familiar tropes, familiar story structures, and even familiar beats, but how he delivers this story, these themes, and the arcs for his extremely lovable characters, which feels so weird to say, is the cherry on top of the cake, and it all comes together beautifully. So far, Poor Things is 100% the best of the fest. So, before I dive into my final thoughts on Poor Things, it's time for you to start the conversation in the comments below with your favorite Yorgos Lanthimos film. In case you want to check out my reviews from last year's Venice Film Festival, they're all on this playlist right up here. And if you are enjoying this review, if you want to stay tuned and don't want to miss any upcoming reviews from the Venice Film Festival 2023, this is the place to be. Consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversation on your favorite movies and TV. Poor Things is a twisted fairy tale of the wonderful, the weird, and the wholesome. A heartfelt, layered coming-of-age tale on monsters and belonging. Celebrating otherness with perverse imagination, delightfully dark humor, and immaculate visuals. Emma Stone is stunningly fearless, and this is Lanthimos 100% unshackled. I'm giving Poor Things an A. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more reviews coming from the Venice Film Festival 2023, and big shout out to my channel members for always supporting the channel. I'll be back very soon with more videos, so until the next one, love each other and love the movies.